There are a lot of subjects and themes that horror games have explored and that are frequently revisited. However, there is one subject that I personally have never seen a game about, and that is alien abduction. So when I heard of a horror game that was targeting this precise subject, I decided to check it out. But is it good? Hi everyone, my name is Jeremy and this is my non-spoiler review for Greyhill Incident for the PS5. The game was developed by Refugium Games and published by Perpetual. Greyhill Incident follows the story of Ryan Baker, a person who lives in the titular town of Greyhill, where there have been alien sightings as of recently. One night, strange things start happening and Ryan and his neighbor soon find themselves in an alien invasion. Ryan's son is abducted, and it is up to you to rescue him and to stop the alien invasion from taking place in your small town. The game's story is told through voice-acted cutscenes and voice-acted dialogue. The story of Greyhill Incident is basic and presents some of the usual elements that you would come to expect in an alien abduction story. Nevertheless, the story is interesting and intriguing despite being basic. So let's talk about the visuals of this game. This game in general goes for a realistic look. Character models look very good and have detailed textures. However, the body animations and the facial animations for the characters are very stiff. Character faces barely emote, and it creates a little bit of dissonance with the emotional tones of the voice acting. The setting of the game is in a rural part of the United States, particularly in a town full of fields and farmers. The game takes place at night and the lighting is actually pretty good. The only thing that doesn't look very good is the inside of the vehicles where you can hide, because the textures look low resolution. In terms of the designs of the enemies, aka the aliens, they go for a very traditional look. They go for the big-headed gray alien with black eyes. And the animations when they attack you are very stiff. In terms of performance, the game ran at a consistent frame rate. I'm not completely sure that it was running at 60 frames per second, but it was very consistent and I had no frame rate drops whatsoever. The only bug I encountered, and I'm not even sure if it's a bug, is that at times there's overlapping in the voice acting. So let's talk about the music. All I can say is that it's very basic. The game does have some tracks that convey the sci-fi and alien theme of the game, but for the most part it's just silent with atmospheric sound effects. And it's a shame because in my opinion, I feel like the game needed more music to create atmosphere.
If it becomes dangerous, hide in a car, a trash can, or something else.
Yeah, great. Trash cans. Brandon would love to see that.
Okay. Good luck, Ryan.
So let's talk about the gameplay. Greyhill Incident is a first-person, story-driven survival horror game that focuses on story and exploration. The exploration revolves around finding key items and sneaking around the enemies, trying to keep confrontation to a minimum. The objective of the game is to rescue your son from the aliens and stop the alien abduction. The gameplay loop is simple. You explore, following the story-driven objectives that are given to you to move the story forward. You can crouch, you can run, and there's a stamina bar. You can use your flashlight, you have a bat to open some areas and partially defend yourself, and you also get a gun. You also have a walkie-talkie where you talk to other characters, but that happens as part of the story. As you explore, looking for a person or a key item to move the story forward, you will come across the titular enemies of the game, the aliens. Ideally, you will have to sneak around them to evade confrontation. If you are detected, you can run away and find a place to hide, like for example a trash can or under a bed or inside a car. You can stun them with a swing from your bat or shoot them and kill them with 2 shots if you have bullets. However, keep in mind that the bullets are extremely limited because the gameplay loop is centered around sneaking and not killing the aliens. If you get caught, you can shake the aliens off by spamming R2, but this won't work indefinitely. If you die, you get sent back to the last checkpoint to continue. Enemy AI is very basic. You can see them patrolling around certain areas, and they can see you from, I would say, pretty far away if you are in the direction in which they are looking. If they see you, they start walking towards you at a slightly fast pace. If you hide when they are still close to you and looking at you, they will grab you out of your hiding place. They can see your flashlight and they can hear you if you run, so you will have to crouch a lot and basically not use a flashlight around them. If you manage to run far enough, and hide, they lose interest pretty fast. As you explore, you can also find some books that you can check out and get some ideas of aspects of the story, but I do have to point out that this is very limited and these are not actual documents that you read, just item descriptions. In terms of the level design, like I said before, you are exploring a town that is rural and where there are a lot of farms. You will find yourself mostly wandering around open areas because closed areas like the houses, for example, are fairly small and basic. Exploration is pretty linear, and the game features different elements to guide the player, like for example, flashing lampposts that serve as visual cues, and blocked off areas that let you know the limit of where you can go. However, I do have to point out that at times this really isn't enough to guide the player, but I will get more into that later. The areas are not big, but you will have to move slowly to not alert the aliens. Greyhill Incident is a short game taking around 1 to 2 hours to complete. So let's talk about the cons and the pros of this game, and I'm gonna start out with the pros. I would have to point out two things. The first one is the theme of the game, which is alien abduction. I feel like the subject is very unexplored in the horror gaming landscape and inspires a lot of intrigue because of that. Secondly, the voice acting. The voice acting is actually pretty good and they manage to transmit a lot of emotion and personality when they talk, which is the reason why it creates so much dissonance with the facial animations of the characters, because the voice acting is really good. So let's talk about the cons of this game, because I have a few and sadly they are big ones. First of all, the game has clunky and simple gameplay. The gameplay of this game leaves a lot to be desired. It is extremely basic to the game's detriment. You have to pick up items to sneak around, and your options for sneaking around and defending yourself are extremely limited. I have to add to this that when aliens see you and you manage to hide, you have no way of knowing if the alien left or not. If he is close enough, you will hear his footsteps, but if they get a little bit further away, you won't hear them. So you won't know if they are far enough for you to get out of your hiding place. Because of this, there will be times where you may leave your hiding place thinking that the alien left, when actually they are near and may see you immediately. Another thing to add is that the character walks very slowly, and because the game is focused on sneaking, you will be moving slowly through the map. If you run, you consume stamina, but the stamina gauge doesn't appear when you are running, which is something that bothers me, because it only appears when you stop running, which doesn't help. And also, the stamina recovery is extremely slow. The second thing that I need to point out is the uninteresting level design and gameplay loop. For the most part, it feels like all the areas that you explore are very simple and similar. The house interiors all look more or less the same with slight differences, and the outdoors feel very monotonous. This, alongside the clunky and simple gameplay, make the game feel boring at times. The sad thing is that the game is extremely short and barely has any strong points to impress. I have played other horror games that despite the simple gameplay and short gameplay time, they still manage to deliver compelling story, music, or visuals. Sadly, this game ranges from basic in the best of cases, like with the story for example, or monotonous and boring in the worst of cases, like for example with the gameplay and level design. Third but not least, there's a lack of direction when exploring. Like I said before, the game uses some visual cues to let you know where you need to go. They block off certain areas, you have lampposts that are flashing, and there are dialogue lines that hint to where you need to go. Additionally, you have objectives in the menu screen. However, in my opinion, this isn't enough. I found myself lost a lot of the time, not sure as to where to go, and I kept wandering for long periods of time. The game needed more clues to guide the player in certain sections of the game. So in conclusion, Greyhill Incident is a decent attempt at an alien abduction game, of which we barely have any. The subject, basic story, and good voice acting are some of the strengths that this game shows off in its defense. However, the game has a myriad of problems that pile up and form a cacophony of noise that drowns the entire experience. The clunky and simple gameplay, paired up with the lack of direction when exploring, the slow character movement and the monotonous level design and gameplay loop really makes this experience boring and a slog to get through. This, alongside the extremely short gameplay time, makes this game a hard experience to recommend. For this reason, I don't recommend Greyhill Incident for the PS5. So that's gonna be it for my non-spoiler review. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. The link to the game's page will be in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
Ryan, Please check the monitors.
Huh?
Fast!
What the hell is this?
No. Something very bad is happening.
Hi everyone, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our content.